The company behind the collective brand of dairy products has been fined nearly $500,000 for covering up positive tests for the potentially fatal bacteria listeria. Epicurean Dairy makes yoghurt, including products specifically marketed to kids. The company's former general manager, Angus Allan, pleaded guilty to 10 charges in the Waitakere District Court. Another former employee has also been convicted of 5 charges of withholding positive listeria tests. The Ministry of Primary Industry started investigating following a tip-off. Gary Orr is the Director of Compliance for MPI and joins me now. Good evening. Can you tell us exactly what was going on here? What were they doing?
Good evening, Lisa. Look, this was sustained, blatant, deliberate deception over a number of years. Auditors were being deceived and official reports were being falsified. And basically it boiled down to the company was falsifying positive listeria test results, and we believe that was to avoid the costs associated with fixing the problem that caused those positive results.
So what are they supposed to do when they get a positive listeria test?
It's supposed to be notified to us that, listeria is a potentially life-threatening illness, as you've identified. People at risk from listeria are the young, the elderly, immunocompromised and pregnant women, and people can die from it. So we treat it very seriously, and we need to know immediately that positive tests are identified. So
over what period of time did this go on for, and how many positive tests went unreported that you know of?
It went on over a 4-year period between 2012 and 2016 before it was brought to our attention. And there was, as you've rightly identified, around 200 positive tests during the time. The good thing is, and this is more by good luck than good management, is that the tests were associated with the environment that the products were being manufactured in and not the products themselves.
So what do you mean? Where was it coming from?
We believe it was the floor that was at fault, and it's worthy of note that within a couple of months of us commencing the investigation, significant work was done on the premises to fix that, and the positive test results have now gone.
So, just generally speaking, you got a tip-off. How did that come to your attention and when exactly?
We got that in 2016, and I really sort of don't want to go into how we got it, other than to say I applaud the courage of the individual concerned in bringing it to our attention. These things are incredibly difficult to detect where there is an orchestrated deception involved, where auditors and verifiers are being lied to and documents are being altered. So we're incredibly grateful that it was brought to our attention, and then as soon as it was, we started the investigation.
I know you don't want to identify this person, but were they within this company somewhere?
They were sufficiently involved that they had credible information about the level of offending.
Okay, so how widespread was the knowledge about this cover-up? Because that's what it was. So within the company, how many people would have been in the know?
Well, as you've pointed out, there were 2 people charged. We believe that Mr. Pizanoff, as the operations manager, was clearly, his fingerprints were all over the offending. But the other side of it too is that Mr. Allan, as the general manager, sends a message to all those in a position of responsibility in such companies that whilst you trust your staff, you have to verify. So you have to actually dig down. You have to audit yourself every now and then to make sure that what you are being told is accurate and the truth. And if not, then you could be potentially liable, as he was in this case.
So was the auditing process strong enough? If the doctored records as such managed to get through, nobody picked up until you got a tip-off?
Yeah, look, that's one of the biggest problems with this type of thing, and luckily it's pretty rare that we have this level of deception, but we learn from that every time we have a case like this, and we feed that information back to the auditors and the verifiers, and we sort of point them in the direction of things that they should be looking for, questions they should be asking, and conversations they should be having with the testing laboratories to make sure that they are being told the truth.
So did any contaminated product make it onto shelves?
No, and that again, as I say, is more by good luck than good management.
How do you know that? How can you explain to us how you know that no contaminated product made it out there to consumers?
Because the product is all tested before release, and there was only one test result that came through as a positive related to illegal food. That was before that had been released onto the market, and that was withheld and destroyed.
You've got a slightly dodgy phone line there, but I just want to make the distinction. So when you say that there were over 200 positive listeria tests, was this not actually in the yoghurt product that was intended for the shelves?
No, it was in the environment. So we believe it related to a damaged floor in the production area of the company. And as I say, within 2 months of us commencing the investigation, remedial action was taken in the factory, and the tests, the positive results immediately dropped off.
So in terms of that, are they required to swab appliances as well as check product?
Absolutely, because that's how seriously we view listeria in food production premises. It's not just the presence of it in the product itself, but they have to ensure that the environment is sufficiently sanitised to prevent it transferring into products.
You've touched on this, the money aspect of it, the suspicion that they just didn't want to fix things up. But did they give you any direct insight into their motivations here?
No. We've just sort of inferred from the fact that nothing was done, that they didn't want to stop production because that's obviously going to have a significant impact on the company, and they didn't want to spend the money on fixing the floor. That's something that we were advised by one of the persons charged, that he believes that was the reason, and we have nothing to discount that.
Just before you go, almost $500,000. I mean, where does this sit in terms of court outcomes for you?
Look, I'm delighted with the penalty. It's the most significant penalty imposed for Animal Products Act offending ever. So I think it sends a very strong message to anybody that's considering this type of deception that there will be a price to pay.
Appreciate your time this evening. That's Gary Orr from MPI talking there about the company that makes the collective brand of dairy products. The company and some former directors have faced a pretty hefty fine there for covering up positive listeria tests.